This week we are going to be doing something very exciting, which is going to my second ever trade show. I've had these little A5 booklets printed. We've got gifts, bags, notepads, pins, key rings, and then obviously having my art prints up and having the tote bags up on the wall is going to bring a lot of colour and bring my designs to life.
Hi, there she is.
We just wanted to say who is behind us. Hi everyone and welcome to a brand new studio vlog. This week we are going to be doing something very exciting, which is going to my second ever trade show. So back in January I did a couple of videos where I showed you the process of attending my first trade show, which was Top Drawer. I went there in January of this year, 2024, and I really loved the experience. I learned a lot from it, and for this next trade show I've really thought about what I learned from the first one and changed a lot of things up. So I'm going to explain that as we get ready to go and show you all the changes I've made. If you've not joined me before, my name's Emma and I run Sunshine Lane, which is a stationery and gift business aimed at spreading positivity and encouraging self-care. And so that's the kind of products that I sell. And the trade show that I'm going to be attending is Home and Gift in Harrogate. So as opposed to Top Drawer, which had a more broad range of categories of companies exhibiting, this one's much more focused at the home and gift industry. And so it will be interesting when I go to see the differences. So in this particular vlog, we're going to be putting together my mock setup here in my studio, getting everything ready to go. We're going to be prepping some new display stands, painting them, bringing a lot more colour in this year, and packing up, travelling down and setting up. So you're going to see the whole process from start to finish. So thinking about the last trade show, Top Drawer, the main takeaway I had from it was that my stand didn't really represent my brand in terms of the imagery and things. So with it being my first trade show, I wanted to keep things very simple, and I basically kept the walls white, the furniture white, everything was kind of clean and crisp, and then I just let the products be a pop of colour. But obviously my products are very small, so it is sometimes hard to draw the eye from afar. And some feedback that I got was that my brand, my products, it's all very colourful, very fun, and that wasn't really represented in the way that I'd put my stand together. And so there was a bit of a mismatch in the visuals and the messaging that I was trying to get across. So I've really thought about that for this trade show, and I've invested in some new furniture, and I've thought about different ways we can bring in a lot more colour and fun and draw the eye from a distance. So let me show you what I'm working with so far, which is really bare bones. So this is the mock setup so far, and like I said, it's very bare bones, but we've kind of blocked out what's going where. So if you can see in the corners, I've actually marked out the space with masking tape on the floor. So this year I am having a 1.5 metre by 2.5 metre booth, and I've not got a corner this time, I've got 2 walls. And I wanted to focus on putting collections of items together rather than just by product type. So on this shelf here, which is a little difficult to see when you've got loads of stuff behind it, I've got my new wildflower collection and all those products together. So this is going to be the main kind of height level shelving unit, full length. And then I've created like a corner here. It's actually the same shelving unit. It separates in the middle if you want to use it as 2 smaller ones. And I'm gonna show you building one of these in a sec because we've got a third one to build, and I'll explain why we've chosen this one and what we're gonna do with it, because I think this is just gonna make setup so much easier. So the idea is that we kind of have a corner here, and I'm planning on putting my pocket hearts here, my pins here, so that my smaller items are right at the front where people can see them. Because last time they were on the back wall and they were just, even though my stand wasn't that deep, it was too hard to see from a distance. And then I was planning on using this pink rail for my tote bags, but I'm actually going to do something different now. So that needs moving out of here and replacing with another one of these shelving units. And then what I'm planning on doing at the back is having clear shelving for my stickers and sticker sheets. I have a few more on the way, but these are kind of mocked up in this space as to how I would put them on the wall. So I've carved out a bit of space to do the best mock-up in my studio that I can. So that's just to give you an idea of roughly what we're working with at the moment. But the way I plan out my stands, as well as kind of trying to mock it out on the floor if there's space, I also do a mock-up in Canva, and that helps me think about what people will see from different angles and what I will put on the walls for signage and decoration and the space I've got there, because utilising the walls is obviously really important. But I did have difficulty last time in trying to affix shelves to the wall, which is why this year I'm only using those clear acrylic shelves I've just shown you for the stickers, and everything else is going to be floor standing units just for ease. So let me show you my computer and I'll show you the mock-ups that I make in Canva and how I use that to plan out what I need to order and what I need to buy stand-wise. This is actually the mock-up that I used last time for top drawer, and I had two walls because I had a corner unit, and these shapes are me blocking out the units that I took with me. I had 3 white units, and so this is the wall face on and this is the wall from the side, and everything is to scale. So basically these boxes are the size of the walls, but I just divide everything by 10. So if something was a metre, it becomes 10 centimetres, for example. And then I can do everything to scale and see how it would actually fit. Obviously, there are quite technical softwares people use to do things like this, but Canva is something I had already and it's something I can easily use, and it's kind of fit for my purpose. So as you can see, I had 2 signs at the top, but everything else was quite plain, and it was just keeping my products front and centre. So this is the one I have this year for home and gift, and this rectangle is something I use for reference. It's the average height of a person, so I can see what would roughly be at eye level. Is also just something I consider. So for this one, this is my back wall, and then on the second page I've got the left wall and the right wall, because like I said, I haven't got a corner this year, so I've got 2 walls either side. And so on the back wall, this is the tall unit that you've just seen, and then these are those sticker shelves. It's not going to have pink and blue, it's just for me to mock out the size. So the blue is the shelves, and I've kind of measured how far apart they would be with the stickers on, so that's where they'll go. This here is that corner unit I made out of 2 units, and I've written on them this time so I can see. So like this is a unit side on, but obviously you'd see the side of it from the front, and the smallest unit side on here. And then what I wanted to do is blow up some of my designs into big wall vinyls to attract people's eye from a distance, and so this also helped me see what bits of wall are exposed that people would see. So there's no point putting loads of stuff behind a piece of furniture, so this is going to block the front. So I've put a big shredder down here as if there is a shredder on the floor. Obviously it will be a wall vinyl of my Negative Thoughts design, and being able to drag it in the space meant that I could figure out what size I wanted them and then write those sizes down ready to order. So I've got my sunshine icon, my Bloom Bright design, and my Negative Thoughts, and then my pocket hearts will be at the front here, my pins will be here, and my washi tapes will be at the front here. So all of my small items, apart from my stickers, which are less popular at trade shows, are right at the front. So then going down to my side walls, I plan to have medium units all along one side. These will be the pocket hearts at the front, and then going towards the back wall will be my notepads and journals, and these are scaled to size so I can see how much room I've got. I'm going to put some tote bags on the wall, and then I just have a little foam board with my story of my brand. And then this year I'm taking art prints, so I've got a bunch of frames. I'm going to pick 8 to put on the wall, and then the rest are going to be here to flick through, got my washi tape. I've bought a floor standing lamp to just make it look a bit more homely and add colour, and then I've basically filled the gaps again with just big designs and pops of colour, and my ring will be on the wall here. So this is how I planned it out. I'm going to print this and take it so that I've got a plan with me and I know where everything is going. This is kind of what I'm working to. And then when I ordered the wall vinyls, all of these different kind of pops of decoration that you can see are wall vinyls that I've ordered, and I used the scale to determine what size I wanted them when I ordered them from here. And I think even though I've left the walls white again this year, there's a lot more going on. The frames are colourful patterns, there's colours on the tote bags, there's just a lot more going on, and I actually intend on painting some of my display stands to add colour as well, which is what we're going to go and do now. So last time I went, we had these white shelving units. There's one behind me, and we basically had to screw like loads and loads of bits together, and it really slowed down setup and packing down. And this time I saw these shelving units and I thought, okay, I would like to see if I can make these work and what they are. So the big tall bookcase I showed you is two together. This is the base of one that I've just built, and it's on wheels, which is really handy, and some of the casters have brakes, and you put your shelves in here. I'll show you in a second, but they actually just fold up and you can put them straight in the car, and then when we get there the other side, that's all you have to do, and then slot the shelves on. So it's so easy. And with the big one, I will just show you. So if you see this clear plastic bit here, that screws onto the top of the bottom one, and then essentially this just lifts in and out of that. And so that's what makes it a tall bookcase instead of two halves. So you can have them together or separate, which is really cool. And it also means that they're shorter for putting in the back of the car. So we're going to have sort of 6 halves to just push together and put in the back of the car. And then when we get there, we can even just put them in place and wheel them straight through the venue if we wanted. So this is the top and bottom separated. We have just got to put casters on this one, but this is the top half and this is the bottom half. The top half is shorter, which is how we've been able to just tuck that underneath. And you can see these are the plastic things that the other legs would slot into. We're going to unscrew these because obviously we don't need to take those bits for this unit. And then you can see this is where the shelves slot in, and because there's all these bars down the side, you can put the shelves on any of those, so you can move the position, which is really handy, and that then makes it stable because it's braced either side. Hello Maggie, dog coming through. And it makes it a completely stable unit. But what we've decided to do is the wooden sections, they're not actually glued in at the moment, and we're going to cover them in vinyl to bring in some of my brand colours. So I've bought 3 colours, an orangey colour, and then I've got more of these too, a baby pink and a yellow. and I just think that's going to bring different pops of colour and just make it all feel more branded, because obviously the base of these shelves is all white again and we don't want to have the same criticism. We did talk about maybe spray painting the white originally, but for ease and not wanting to ruin them, I'm going to see how it looks just with the vinyl for this one. But the wood slots in and out of the panels really easily, so if we wanted to recover them at any point, swap them round, it's really, really easy to do. And it just means that on the day we haven't got to build any shelves. We've literally just got to pull those two wheels apart, slot the shelves in where we want them, and we're good to go. So we're going to try and cover these now, hopefully with no bubbles, and see how we get on. So it is now Friday. We set off tomorrow and I wanted to show you where I'd got to with my setup, and it's looking a lot more Sunshine Lane, although I was also supposed to have orange vinyl, but I miscalculated the rolls and the roll of orange vinyl wouldn't even cover one shelf. So we went for just the pink and yellow, and this is how it turned out. So I've got a unit over here with yellow and pink, and then these long shelves alternate the colours. I think they just add a pop of colour. And like, I really love how the wildflower stuff looks on this pretty yellow shelf. And then you've got the tote bags with the pop of pink. I just think it's really pretty. Then at the front, we've got two pink shelves with yellow displays on them. I'm not building this one up till we get there, but it's just like a tiered wooden display. And I spray painted those yellow. I didn't want to go too mad with too many layers and then things not fit back together or fill the slots with paint and not be able to use them. But I think they turned out pretty good and just lift everything up a bit and fit with the branding a little bit more. And then I also have a magazine rack, a wooden one that is, oh, I can see it's fallen over outside. That's not good. Is in the process of being spray painted orange, and that will go just on that shelf there with my art prints in, so people can flick through those. We've got another unit on the end here. I'm going to be putting my retro collection stuff here. Don't know what, oh, tote bags, retro tote bags will be going down there. And then that does tuck properly underneath, but I just grabbed these pink storage boxes from Argos because unless you've got cupboards somewhere, there's nowhere to hide your stuff like bags, coats, food, extra leaflets, line sheets, things like that. So I've got a few of these that are pinks. They don't look super out of place. They also just tuck under the shelves. I might pop the odd sticker on them just to brand them up a bit, but they will just tuck under there. And I've also got a couple of little stools that will just tuck under here, and we can pull them out if we need a little sit down if we're getting desperate. So that is sorted. And then I just wanted to show you a few other things that I've invested in for this show that I didn't have last time, and talk about how I'm going to use them and why I think they're going to be good. Excuse the plaster on my hand, I've just cut my hand. in the most awkward place. So let's go and have a look at some goodies I've invested in. Okay, so one thing I'm trying to improve over time is how my products are packaged, because obviously this is something retailers are going to be looking at if they are going to be displaying it in a store. They want it to look nice on the shelves. So when I took my new mouse pads to Stationery Fest, the backing cards were a last minute job and I didn't like really how they looked, but it was an okay way of displaying them. Then when I got back, I had an idea, or maybe my mum had an idea, I can't remember, so sorry if I've just stolen your idea. So this is my wildflower pin and it sits on this backing card here, and so I wanted to experiment and see if I could do the same thing for the mouse pad and have a kind of matching background, and so this is what I've designed. So these are the new backings. I think they look super cute, and the kind of curve at the top will follow the curve of the mouse pad and they'll just sit in the middle here. And so yeah, I want to package a few of those up now with some mouse pads to take, and then I've also done the same for my key rings. I wanted to bring all the backings for the key rings in line and just have one design. So I can't remember if I showed this in the last vlog, my kind of mock-up of it, but this is what I've designed. It's a Sunshine Lane keyring up here and it's got the pricing information on the back, and I will then attach the key rings to the backing card and pop them in a little A7 biodegradable cello sleeve, so I'll show you what they look like as well. So let's get these all packaged up. So I am really happy with these. I love how they now look really cohesive across the board. I've not got different packaging sizes and shapes for different key rings, and so I kind of figured out a way where we could make it work. So obviously with the one that's on a longer chain, the chain goes over and on the back, and then the other two you can see the whole length on the front. But I am really happy with how they've turned out. I think they look really cute, and you could see them kind of stood up in a little box on display in a shop, or if they wanted to affix kind of those hang tags and hang them on pegs or on a slat wall shelf. So I think they're really cute. And also if you were going to gift it to somebody, just buying it as a customer. I think it's a nice way for it to be packaged, and you would open it and it feels like something a little bit special. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those. So with that and my new mouse pad packaging, I think I'm happy with both of those. I've kind of upped the game on the packaging, and I think it looks so much prettier on the display. So I wanted to share with you my kind of packing list for trade shows and things that I've bought this time that I didn't take with me last time. And I thought it'd be handy to kind of create a little packing checklist. So first things first, this might sound mad if you haven't done an event before, but high-vis vests. So high visibility vests, a lot of places, they won't let you into the setup or the breakdown of the event without them. I just got a couple off Amazon. You could get pink ones, but I just got yellow ones. Everything that I'm using, I will link in the description down below, but it's something that I don't always think about when taking stuff to events, but in exhibition centres and things, and because people are actually building stands in there, they quite often won't let you in without them for health and safety. So that and closed toe shoes, don't be turning up in sandals. Then you're going to want to think about what literature you want to take with you. Now I haven't got one left, but for the last trade show I created a full A4 sized catalogue with all my products, and I printed a load of those, and then no one wanted them because they're too big to carry around. And so I'd kind of realised this before the event, and so I had these postcards produced which have some product photos on, and then it's got my story on the back, my contact details, and then you can scan this QR code to view the catalogue. These went down much better. People were overloaded with stuff to carry, and it's hot, it's a long day for people, they're walking around a lot, they don't want to be weighed down. So this is the main thing I'm taking again. I had loads left over and I had my stand number on them, so I've literally just printed stickers with the new stand number and stuck it over the top, and I'm going to reuse them. So that's what I'm taking with me. I'll also be taking my business cards, and then last year I also took A4 size line sheets. So a catalogue will have more information about the products. A line sheet is literally just a list of all the products with a picture, so it's identifiable, and it's got the prices on there, kind of pricing, sizing, key information basically, for people to flick through and say, yes, this. So instead of having, again, an A4 size thing, I thought, why don't I kind of make a little bit of a catalogue line sheet hybrid? And so I've had these little A5 booklets printed instead. So it's got like my order terms and stuff on the back, and then inside is literally just the products by category, and it's just A5, really lightweight, all the different products that I sell. It's not excess information because you can get that on the website, but it's just a reminder of what they might have seen and a quick way to order them. So for example, with my, you can see on my sticker page that for each product, it's got the name of the sticker, the product code, the recommended retail price, the wholesale price, and then for stickers I've just put whether they're matte vinyl, glossy vinyl, or like whether they've got a special effect on them. Some things don't necessarily have that much detail. Like for art prints, I've just got different sizing and pricing at the top of the page for the different sizes that I do. We've got gifts, bags, notepads, pins, key rings. So yeah, if they wanted more information, they could contact me or look at the full wholesale catalogue online, but it's just something easy they can carry around. So I could give them one of these and a postcard. I could just give them one of these. It's kind of, if they want minimal information, this'll do, bit more information. And also I've got order forms that I can give them, or they could fill in on the stall. And the order forms I have literally just printed with customer information on the top, what products they want to order. Very simple. So they just look like this, just to show you if people are interested, because I know that sometimes this can feel very overwhelming. So it's just got a space for the customer to fill in their details, how they plan on paying for the order, and then what they want to order in here. When we were taking orders on the stall last time, we just filled it in for them, and people were kind of saying, I want so many of these, so many of these. They were in quite a rush because they wanted to get round other stalls, so we quickly filled it in, and then any notes and a subtotal, and then I will take it away and email them back an invoice. Or if they take this away, then they can return it to me by email. So if someone wants to take an order form and a line sheet, for example, I can just fold it, tuck it in, off they go. So things are a bit more streamlined this year and a lot more lightweight for people to carry around. I think the majority of people these days would just like to do things online because it's easier. But I do think having a stand number on your kind of postcards or whatever you're giving out is good, because if they stop and sit down for a coffee and flick through what they've picked up, then they might think, yeah, I'll go back to that stall. And if they can't find you again, you've lost a sale. So just making it as easy as possible, that's the kind of rule I'm following. And then I have just printed a bunch of stuff that we might need to refer to, not loads, but things like where we go when we first get there, any passes that we need. I'm not going to show you because obviously they've got details on them, but any passes that we need, like our vehicle passes so that we can pull up and drop stuff off. So making sure you've kind of got a checklist of all of that ready and printed. So I did that yesterday. This time around we're actually staying in an Airbnb in Harrogate. I hate finding accommodation for these events because I always weigh up too many options, but I'm always trying to balance what am I going to do with parking alongside where am I going to stay, because sometimes you might find somewhere cheaper, but where are you going to put the car, and is that going to cost you like £40 a day to park? Then it might be worth, like at Top Drawer I got a slightly more expensive hotel that came with much cheaper parking and it worked out better overall. But something that we did find was that we were spending a lot on food, and after a long day we were like, oh, what are we going to eat now? Like, the day's getting late, we need to find somewhere to eat something. We didn't really feel like going out for food and sitting down, but equally we didn't want to just get takeaway all the time. So this year we thought, let's get an Airbnb. It was actually cheaper than the local hotels anyway, and it means that we've kind of prepped stuff in advance that we can just throw in with some pasta after work and things like that after work, after the show kind of thing. So it's quick and easy. You've not got to wake up every morning and think, oh God, where am I going to go for breakfast? It's all just a lot easier, and hopefully we will save money that way too. And the Airbnb is walkable to the event. So this is what I did last time, was I got somewhere that was walkable. So I think this time it's only a 5 to 10 minute walk, and it means that the Airbnb has got free parking. So once we get to the event and we've unloaded everything, I can just leave it by the Airbnb and we can walk back and forth each day to the show, and then I haven't got to worry about the car until it's time to go and walk and get it to load the car again at the end, if that makes sense. So that's what we're doing this time, and I'll let you know how we get on with it. But I also thought it might just be a bit more comfortable because it's an extra day this time. It'd be nice just to have like somewhere to sit and chill that wasn't like on your bed for the duration. So we'll see how we get on with that. So I've also printed the information about how to get in, just so we've got everything on hand really easily. Then I've got my standard event things like stapler, because if someone gives me a business card, I will staple it to where I've written down the information about them so that it's together and things don't get muddled up. Last time I printed off loads of like contact information forms, but this time I think we're just going to use a notebook, because I found I was wasting lots of paper, like just filling in a little bit and then there was like a whole sheet. We're just going to use a notebook. I'm going to use one of my notebooks because then I'm also using something that's for sale, so it's like an extra advert. So that's the plan. But stapler to staple business cards to things so you don't get muddled up. Pens I forgot last time, which is crackers. So stationery, things like glue, Velcro, all your bits and bobs, blue tack, stapler I've already said, scissors, glue dots, safety pins, anything that might help you on a day, like bits of string, whatever it is. Have like a little bits and bobs bag that you take to and from events, I'd say is a really good tip. Actually, at the last trade show, the person opposite me, their big like brand sign fell down overnight, and I ended up saving the day and giving them some of my Velcro. But those are the kind of things, like if you have something unexpected happen with your setup, you can like make a fix without having to panic and have to go out and buy something. We're going to take our own lanyards because I want to put my pins on them, and last time the lanyards we got at the event were too thin to put any pins on. Obviously my laptop, my cables and my power bank, because I've got a lot of rechargeable things this year, so the power bank is the one. I think trade shows trade shows cost a lot to go to, and everything has a charge associated with it. And so the way I've put my stall together is thinking about how I can make it look professional whilst cutting down the costs where I will pay someone else once and never get use out of an item again. Like, what are some ways that I can invest in reusable solutions? So things like not painting the walls has helped cut down the cost a lot, but also things like lighting and electrics. So my stall, I've got a shell scheme where it's not just a completely blank space. It like comes with your name board at the top, you've got carpet, the walls are painted white, you've got a couple of spotlights, and it says you've got electric. I can't remember if I just said that in the list. However, if you want a plug on that electric, it's like, I don't know, a couple £100 for a plug. So I don't really know what the point of having electric is, but I can't take it out the package, so fine. But what we noticed last year is only having the 2 spotlights, like we tried to angle them different ways, but sometimes products on shelves, like it can block the light, it can look quite dark. 2 spotlights for the space wasn't really that much, but again, adding more lights is like hundreds and hundreds of pounds you're adding on with every little thing you're adding on to the package. So what I've done is invest in rechargeable lights that I can fit into my display. So I wanted to show you those because they are one of my exciting purchases. So the first type of light I ordered is these ones that go like under cabinets or under shelves, because I always find that once you put a shelf on top, what's underneath is dark because it's then blocked the light. And things like pins and stuff, I've noticed it in shop displays as well, and I noticed it at Stationery Fest. Things weren't really standing out because the shelf was blocking the light and it was then kind of in shadow. So being able to put something underneath is fab. These ones are magnetic, so you can get them. This is the bit where you peel it off and you stick that under your shelf. So even if it was just one of the narrow displays where you've got like the shallow shelves, you stick that underneath, then you charge up your light and it just magnets on like that, and then it just kind of hangs there. But because my shelves are metal, I don't even need that bit. I can just bloop, stick it to the shelf, and it's rechargeable there. And then it's just got a button on the end. So you can see it's like that. It will sit like under my shelf, and then everything here, especially the little items at the front, it'll just shine some light on them and highlight them a bit more. You could also stick them sideways and have them coming across. You could use it as like an uplighting thing. You use them however you want. So I'm happy with these. I got 4 of those. They came in a box of 4 off Amazon. What I'll do each night is just pop them off the shelves, pop them in my bag, and then I will charge them overnight. So I'll set up a little charging station in the Airbnb, I think is the easiest way to do it, rather than trying to keep doing things at the event, and they should last the day, and then pull them down, recharge them. So that's those. And then for lighting higher up, I got these wall lights. So they look like this. You can angle these any way you want. You can even just stand them like this, but the idea is that comes with a sticky pad. You stick it on the back and then you stick that on the wall. And then the good thing is that this is actually a strong magnet. So if you, there you go, pull it, it's like a ball joint. That's how it's swivelable. That's in there. All the lights come on. And then your rechargeable slot is there. So I can just pull them down, charge them up, pop them back up in the morning, and I'll be able to swivel them. So like light up my art prints, light up whatever's looking dark. I'll be able to add more light in different directions because yeah, I felt like a lot of things were in shadow last year. And then this has got a remote as well as a touch button, but you can do cool light, warm light, and then this has also got red, green and blue, which I won't use. I prefer to use cool light because I just think it makes everything look nice and bright and fresh. But depending on your products, you can use whatever you want. So I've got those. And then the last one I got was this yellow floor standing lamp from Dunelm. It was on sale for £25 instead of 50, and like it doesn't need plugging in whatsoever. So the touch button, if I can squat, is on the top. So you're probably not going to be able to see that in here because it's really bright. It's not going to make a big difference. But if I tilt it, you can see that the light is on underneath, and when we've got a wall here and a wall here, I think it's just going to help light up this corner a bit. Obviously the shade is facing down, but I think it's just going to help light up this corner a bit. And this was a kind of a bit of wasted space, and I think it'll just pull everything together, make it look a bit homey. And the way it works is, if I just unscrew the top, take the shade off, it's only this bit that you need to recharge. The recharge slot is there. This is all plastic, so it's not going to break. And then it's just this touch bit that turns the light on. So when I screw the metal cap back on, when you touch that, it turns the light on basically. So it's just that, it doesn't weigh anything. I'm going to shove all these lights in my bag, take them back to the hotel, charge them, shove them back up. And I can use these time after time for different things and not just pay, say, another £300 for a lighting package and never be, that's just money gone. So that's my plan. Obviously when I set it up, I'll show you how it looks. I also got a bunch of these frames for my art prints to pop up on the wall. They are super lightweight, they're plastic, they don't come with a front or back, they are technically poster frames. So the idea is they sit up on a wall somewhere. They came in all different colours. They sit up on a wall and you slide your poster in the slot. There's like a slot all the way around that it will slot into. These are just A4. And then if you want to change it, you pull that up. So I guess they're useful for like classrooms, workplaces, public spaces is like maybe where they'd be used. But they had different colours and I got yellow and orange. I'm going to pick 8 of my art prints, I think, and pop them up on the wall. And again, I thought it brings colour in without having to paint the walls. And it's something I can use for lots of different things, for signage, even use them in the office when I'm not at an event. But these were something like 80p each from the website I found, and then I just had to pay shipping. So it didn't work out that bad, so I'm gonna link those as well. And then obviously having my art prints up and having the tote bags up on the wall is gonna bring a lot of colour and bring my designs to life. But the big wall vinyls is the last thing that I purchased, and I showed you the mock-up in my Canva setup. They came yesterday. I saved a lot of money by buying them all on one sheet of vinyl. You could choose to have your designs trimmed per design, like die cut in a square, or untrimmed and have them all on one sheet. And when I was looking at getting them done individually, it was looking to be about £50 per image. Having them on one sheet, there was an offer on at the time as well. I think the price came down to about £40, and I've got about 8 massive wall vinyls. So considering it was going to cost me about £400 to paint a wall, I think this is going to be a good way to add things on. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get more than one use out of them, but I just die cut trimmed them yesterday. I got them done on transparent vinyl, so I'll show you them when we're at the event and we're putting them up on the wall. So today's job is prep all the products ready to go. I'm probably going to take about 3 of each product. I'm only really going to have 1 or 2 of each on display. It's not like a market type thing where you're selling things on the day and you need to prep loads and loads of stock, which is something I really like about trade shows, is the fact that you don't have to take masses of stock. You do kind of have to take more furniture and things, but I'm planning to take pictures of where everything is on my mock display so that I can use that as a guide, and then pack up maybe 3 of each product. Things like stickers and pins, I will probably pack a few more, because last time I did have somebody ask me for samples, and that is something that I can easily give people. They actually asked me if there was somewhere local that they could buy a sample from to take back and show their colleagues before they made the decision. This was actually what ended up turning into that big order that I packed in last week's vlog. So I had some spares with me and I said, oh, I can give you some samples of some stickers and pins. Which would you like? They picked a couple. I think I gave them 2 pins, 2 stickers, and then they took them back, and 4 months later and a lot of emails, that turned into that big order. So it was well worth giving that sample away. But I don't think it's something I would necessarily offer all the time, because obviously it ups your costs. Some people do offer freebies, but I'm just not at that stage where I can do it. But kind of having some tucked away where if that situation arises or something happens to your display items, maybe they get damaged from handling, they get dirty somehow, there's some marks, you can quickly swap it out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prep all the items and we're going to start to pack. So let's get to it. Ironically, it is a super hot week again. This happened in the run up to Stationery Fest, and I'm filming in this corner because I've got the fan here. I'm really sorry if you can hear it, but I am sweltering. I'm struggling every day. By the evening I've been really overwhelmed, really overheated, just lying on the sofa like a hot dog that, not a hot dog, but like a hot dog that doesn't know what to do with itself. So yeah, you're welcome for that mental image. And it's just awful timing because I don't do well in the heat, but there's nothing I can do about it because we've got to pack. It's just bad timing that it's this week again when I need to be in this space and doing quite physical jobs, but it's one of those I'll suffer through. So let's get to packing. So, how are you feeling?
Oh, shattered, dehydrated. I'm going to complain to HR.
We haven't got any. So, we'll update you when we get back to our Airbnb because there's hammering. But we just wanted to say, who is behind us? And I'll slot in some better footage after they've hoovered. So we're back in our Airbnb and we have unpacked. We deliberated for a while about food. We ended up ordering in Aziz's. I had a nice pizza. You had a subpar pasta dish.
Chewy pasta.
Chewy pasta, thumbs down. But we did have cake for pudding.
What was it? Chocolate fudge.
Zillionaire's fudge cake?
Chocolate fudge.
Chocolate fudge. So
that made up for it.
Oh, sorry.
And Emma even gave me the biggest piece.
I did, yeah. Because I felt bad. But it's what? 25 to 10 now. We're going to go to bed soon. But just wanted to talk about how it went with the setup. So you will have seen in the footage that we got there. We started putting the stands, like the shelves where they go, based on the plan that I'd printed off, and then quickly realised that either I've mismeasured or they've mismeasured when they're putting the stands up. Probably I've mismeasured, and they didn't fit side by side, did they? Like the bookcases protruded out into the aisle. Yeah.
How far would you say? 3 or 4 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, something like that.
Probably. Oh, God, I can't stop yawning.
But we didn't want to put everything on the shelves and then somebody come along tomorrow and say we've got to move it round.
Yeah, so we did consider if we could just get away with it, didn't we? But I didn't think we'd be able to, so we thought we had better just find a plan B today, rather than, someone come round tomorrow and say, no, you got to move it, and then it's in the middle of the show and there's people walking around and it's all in chaos. So we just had to shift the shelves around based on where they would fit, basically. So we ended up flipping what was on each side a little bit, and then one of the side pieces we put at the back, didn't we? So that was fine, and we just kind of did it bit by bit. And then I thought where the problem will be is when we go to stick the wall vinyls up, because I'd considered what you could see from the front, but there were just a couple that we just adjusted where we put them, and you can't see them right from the front, but it doesn't really matter. And we just use them for decoration lower down, and you can see it as you go in. So it worked out all right, considering we went off plan.
Yeah, it still looked good. It just took us a bit longer.
Took us longer to figure out.
Yeah.
And we were driving up and we were saying on the way, what took us so long last year? Not last year, like in January when we did Top Drawer. What took us so long? Because we had a smaller stand, we knew where things were going, blah, blah. And we thought, we'll get it done in no time today. But it still took us, what,
3 hours?
3 hours? Oh, it took us longer to set up for Stationery Fest this time, to be fair. But in general, we can usually set up for a market event in under an hour. But it's the fixing of things to the wall, isn't it? Which is why we'd gone for freestanding things this time mostly, because that does take last time, but it was all the clear plastic shelves the stickers were on, and then like the frames for the art prints. All those bits take a lot longer to line them up and get them level and all of that malarkey. We did just use double-sided like clear tape this time to stick things to the wall, because we're not sticking anything heavy at all. It's just the shelves have got stickers on, and then the frames have just got a single print inside, but no glass or perspex. So it's nothing very heavy. So we'll see in the morning. The test will be whether they're still up. But the only other thing that didn't go to plan is when I booked my stand for this one, it's exactly the same company as Top Drawer, and they'd said to me, you'll get exactly the same package as at Top Drawer, so everything that's included. So I was like, okay, great. So I know when I've been doing the video this week, I said that I had a shelf scheme package and the lights were included. Well, we quickly noticed there were no lights. So I went back into like the exhibitor's manual and I checked what was in the package for my stand, and there were no lights in there. So I thought about arguing it, and actually the people on the stall next to me asked us about it because they were like, how come some people have got lights? We haven't got any lights. And I did think about arguing it, but then I thought, well, it's quite clearly there. It says no lights. They'll just argue I should have spotted it. All I can say is someone told me on the phone it's the same package. Like, they're not going to give me it, so I didn't waste my time. But now I am extra glad that I had invested in extra lights, because they ended up being the only lights, and it would have been really dark without them. I ended up taking the shade off the floor lamp because it was just pushing the light downwards rather than like blocking it from actually lighting anywhere up. So I took the shade off, so it looks slightly weird. But it's just a freestanding bulb now, a plastic bulb. And then we've got the 4 magnetic strip lights and the 4 like wall sconce lights.
But they work really well, didn't they?
They're quite bright, actually. I'd really recommend those, both of them. So the wall lights kick out a lot of light. They're bright, aren't they? But those undershelf ones, they make a massive difference. Because when I was showing the mock setup in my studio, it was a bit hard to like show you on the video the difference it would make, because I've got windows all around my studio and it's really bright. So you'd put the light on and you couldn't really see that much difference on the shelf. But being in that space when you have got 3 walls, it does get really dark in the space, doesn't it?
So it made a big difference.
Yeah. So if anything, I would say now that I've got no other lights, I almost wish I'd brought another 2 of the wall ones.
Yeah, because you could have put them on the front,
like the name board
facing
shining
inwards.
in.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, I'd have maybe had a bit more, but I still think it looks fab. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I think doing a kind of side-by-side of, I'll show a little bit of footage of how Top Drawer looked now so you can see. So this is how it looked at the very first trade show I did. And like I explained earlier in the video, I kept everything quite plain and white and thought I would let the products do the talking, but obviously the products are quite small, and I'd had those comments about, you know, it's not bright and fun like your brand and fun and playful kind of thing. But also from a distance,
you didn't want to spend, it was your first trade show and you didn't want to spend a lot of money, really, did you? So,
which is why I'd not done that. But I think then comparing it to how this looks, I think it's a nice kind of halfway house where, like, I've not done floor to ceiling graphics or, you know, anything like that. Or some people have like custom built furniture and with cupboards that are hidden and everything's neatly out of sight and, you know, all these different things and weird and wonderful and fun things. I think it's a nice halfway house where it looks a lot more professional than last time, but it also looks a lot more like Sunshine Lane than last time. It is a lot more kind of colourful, playful. You can see my designs from a distance. The smaller products are at the front. You can see straight away like a bit of what it's about. You haven't got to get close and go like, what is this? Because some people don't want to, because they don't want to be drawn into conversation. They want to be able to look from a distance and be like, oh, I don't want to go there, or yes, I want to step closer. So...
And do you know what I like?
What do you
We've
like?
actually got seats.
We've
actually got some stools to
seats.
sit on.
Yeah. So I don't know where, because like we were saying, it feels quite claustrophobic in there once you've got 3 walls rather than us just taping it out on the floor. It does feel tight, doesn't it? But we have got some little stools.
We'll take it in turns.
To perch.
Yeah.
We'll squeeze them in, or just sit forward a little bit, see if we can get away with it. So we are pooped. I really wish we had a day tomorrow to just rest before it started, but we're going to be up bright and early in the morning. It opens at 8 o'clock for like a 9 o'clock start, and then what time does it finish tomorrow? 6?
I think it's 6.
So it's longer days than we did last time, and there's an extra day this time. So yeah, wish us luck. I do feel a little bit nervous this time. I think it's probably pressure I'm just putting on myself, because I've already done one trade show, and when I hadn't done any trade shows I felt like there was no expectation, but now I'm putting a bit more pressure on myself, like, well, you've done a trade show, you should know what you're doing. Last time you got orders on the first day, last time blah blah blah, like you start comparing. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm just going to try and focus on speaking to people and being excited about the products and having lovely chats with people and see what happens. But right now we're going to finish unpacking for the evening, decide what we're going to wear tomorrow, and get in bed, I think.
Steam what we're going to wear tomorrow.
Yeah. And then get in bed. So the next vlog, I'll take you with us for the actual trade show itself, and I'll show you a bit of that and how that goes, and then the journey home, and actually talking to you about how it went, what we learned, what we would have done differently, all of those good things. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing this vlog about kind of the lead up, and that it's useful in terms of thinking about the types of things of like how you would put a stand together, what you would pack, things like that. And as always, coming up with a plan B. If you got this far in this week's vlog, could you leave a sunshine emoji in the comments, ready to share Sunshine Lane with lots of new people hopefully this week, and like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, because it really is helping my channel to grow and to get in front of people who also like these videos, so I really do appreciate it. Wish us lots of luck for the next few days, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye. Everyone!